engineering here on the campus. Everything else counts into GPA. Okay. Now, this is also some very small print that you'll be able to read at your leisure later, but we wanted to talk a little bit about the different dual credit options or college earning opportunities that we offer in Humble ISD and at Summer Creek. The 3 different ways to earn college credits while you're on campus here would be through AP, Advanced Placement. Students, it's open enrollments. Any student is eligible to take an AP class. Students will prepare during the year for the AP exam. It is a college board sanctioned curriculum and exam. Students take that exam at the end of the year. It is graded on a 1 to 5 scale. And then the universities and colleges that they apply to will have some policy on what score is required in order to consider that course having met transfer criteria. A 3, 4, or 5 in the state of Texas will be accepted typically, but every college has their AP test policies that we would look at in advance before making a decision if that makes sense for that student. Regular dual credit, we use through Lone Star. We do have a couple of summer opportunities through Sanjac, but for the most part it's through Lone Star. Students would apply to Lone Star, take those courses here at the Summer Creek campus with Summer Creek teachers, and be earning both credit for the high school class and for the Lone Star course that it's affiliated with at the same time. And then there is another program called On-Ramps that is through UT. So for regular dual credit through Lone Star, the students must meet criteria with a placement test or with their EOCs or PSATs. They have to meet criteria to take that dual credit through Lone Star. With On-Ramps through UT, any student may enroll in the course, and then at some point, that student will be able to decide if that college credit, if they want to accept that college credit based on how they're doing in the course. So with AP, they get a high school credit, and their college credit is based on how they perform on the end of course or on the AP exam at the end of the year. In dual credit with Lone Star, they are enrolled in the course here at Summer Creek, taught by a Summer Creek teacher, and that course they will earn high school credit for and Lone Star credit for, and that course will go on both the high school and college transcript, no matter what. And then the On-Ramps course is taught by a UT professor remotely, but with a Summer Creek facilitator teacher in tandem and support, and that college credit is able to be decided later if a student wants to accept that on the college side. That was a lot of words. It's explained much better above me, just tiny print right now. There's also more information regarding those opportunities on the District Advanced Learning website, on the district website, on the Advanced Learning web page. Did someone have a hand up? Yes, ma'am?
And the Sanjac summer course?
Yes, so there, yes. Sanjac and Lone Star, it's the same policy for the dual credit. It is, but the credit will go both on the college transcript and on the high school transcript. They must. That's the dual credit contractual agreement, right? So that's what the enrollment form says when you do that. And we can answer those questions as often, throughout, ongoing. Okay, I think that those were my only 2.
Yeah, it's me. Okay.
That's too much pressure. All right, hi everybody. I'm FourYear. As Ms. Barnes introduced earlier, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our college and career planning. So here on campus, we do have a college and career coordinator, Ms. Goree. She works with our students to help them with the dual credit information. So our students who are enrolled in those dual credit programs will work with her. She talks with them about their qualifications, and like Ms. Murray mentioned, being able to, you have certain qualities that you have to, qualifications, what am I trying to say? Thank you. That you have to meet in order for those dual credits, and then she also helps out with the on-ramps and those kinds of things. That is her information up there. She is located in our library, so students can find her there. And then we also have a special site for her on the Summer Creek website, which is linked on the slideshow, so you can access the slideshow either through the QR code or it is on our counselor site as well. You can click on that link and see the College and Career Center through our Summer Creek website. All right, so talking a little bit about kind of doing some planning. I know we're meeting with our juniors, and one of the things that comes up is, are you already starting to think about what you want to do, what you want to be when you grow up, and where you want to go to college, which sometimes is kind of a shock for them that you're asking this so early, but in reality, it's kind of the time to start thinking about that. So one of the resources that we do have available for our students is what we call Naviance. We have our students log in and set goals in Naviance for themselves every school year. But one of the nice things about Naviance is that it also has some interest surveys, it has some career exploration items that they can look at, and it does have opportunities for, I think there's some scholarship stuff in there. So there's a lot of really great resources within that program that students already have access to and are already familiar with. We use this program when we set up our schedules and things like that too with students. So they are familiar with Naviance. They can access it through their My Humble account very easily. And then for me, finally, I'll talk a little bit about getting involved. One of the things that I've always said is really important for our students is that they get involved with after-school activities or extracurricular activities. One of the things that I think that is really beneficial is that it provides them with a lot of good experience. It makes them a little bit more well-rounded. It gives them communication skills. It allows them to get involved on campus in things that make them want to come to school. Studies have shown that kids who are involved in extracurricular activities tend to have better attendance, tend to have higher graduation rates, tend to be the kids who want to go and do more things outside of high school. So it's just really great to get involved. So if your student is looking for something to be a part of here on campus, we do have some really great clubs and organizations for them to get involved in as well. And there's another link on the slideshow you can kind of take a look. Questions?
So my daughter went through all of the clubs and everything, and nothing spoke to her. Is she able to start a club on her own?
Yes, so the question was, is my child able to start a club on their own? And that's a really great question, and the answer is yes. Essentially what needs to happen is the child just needs to find a teacher sponsor, is that correct? Okay, making sure I'm just speaking, I know it from my old school, but as long as this child can find a sponsor. I know a group that just started a book club, and I know that sponsor list, that organization list isn't completely updated yet. I know we've added a lot more clubs this year. Again, I was just talking with a student today who said he and his friends started a book club. They meet in the library. So, if your student has an interest and we don't have a club for it, absolutely, because chances are there's probably someone else on campus who is interested in it as well. You just have to find a teacher or some sort of a staff sponsor to help with that.
And create a plan.
And create a plan for that club and what they're planning on doing. It's not just a free-for-all, I guess, to meet after school once a week. So, good question, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. So this is a really good segue based on what Ms. Frugier was just speaking on. This is a good segue for me to kind of talk about choices after graduation. So right now we are currently meeting with our juniors, and as Ms. Frugier stated, a lot of times the students, they come in our office and they're like, oh my God, what am I gonna do after high school? And so, like she said, this is a really good time for them to kind of start thinking about that. I don't know, as a counseling team, we're telling them, one thing about these personalized meetings is, it's just merely to get the conversation started. You guys, they're juniors, so they still have this year, they still have, their senior year. So they don't necessarily have to come in with a tight plan, a solid plan, but at least we can get that dialogue, we can get that conversation started. So, of course, as a team, we want to help our students kind of think about all pathways. We realize and understand that not every student is going to go to college, and that is okay. And which is why here in Humble ISD and districts across the state of Texas, we push career and college readiness. And so, obviously, these are our choices that we promote and we drive. Obviously, you have the 4-year option, and again, that's just going to be going to your traditional college. And of course, with that criteria, we definitely encourage students, they have to take the SAT or the ACT along with that college application. Right now, because of COVID, A lot of schools are test optional, but I know as a team, we've been encouraging our juniors, your class of 2024, so anything can change. So definitely encouraging them to take those exams, the ACT and the SAT. But that is definitely one of your criteria for getting into a four-year university. The next option would be a two-year college, which would be Lone Star, San Jac. I know those are our two common areas in this area, and of course we have students that are interested in maybe attending Houston Community College, HCC. But again, with the two-year college, SAT and ACT is not required. TSI, they have to take the TSI. But we definitely encourage them to take the ACT and the SAT. And then of course they go there, and then what would happen is they would get their basics, and then they would apply to whatever university they desire as a transfer. And of course, what's unique about the two-year colleges is that they provide students to be able to have the opportunity to get an associate's degree, or they can get some type of certifications or some type of license. Of course, you have your trade schools, so that's going to be kind of specific to that student's interest in whatever industry that they want to attend. So something like MTI, places like that would be a good choice for a trade school. And then of course you have the military, and all different, the Air Force, Army, Coastal Guard, just whatever option, interest, branch that your student have a desire to attend, we provide them information. If they are interested in the military, we do have information that we do provide. We do have recruiters that come out and things of that nature. And then of course, lastly, entering the workforce, which again, that's why our CTE programs are so critical, because some of those CTE programs allow our students to be able to get that certification where they can go out and start working and probably make more than some of us. So definitely these are the options, and this is what we're talking to your student, your child about in those personalized meetings. Okay, again, just a couple of examples of four-year universities. Obviously you have SFA. I graduated from SFA. A&M, Texas Southern, LSU, and these are just a few. We have some of the bigger schools, Rice, Texas Tech, UT. So again, it just depends on where your student desire to go. I always tell my students, where can you see yourself like for the next four years, maybe 5, depending on what track you're on. Do you want to go to school in a big city, or do you want to go to a smaller school? I know in my case, I wanted to go somewhere. I didn't want to go to a big school. I know me better than myself. I probably would still be seeking my degree if I went to school in a big city. So you just have to kind of know you and your personality and things like that. And so I knew I needed to go somewhere small so I can focus and get out in 4 years. So just kind of thinking about where you want to go and where it's gonna be your what's gonna fit your personality, climate, all of that. You want to take all of that into consideration. Okay, and again, these are just some another more options on community colleges and trade schools. So again, like I said, those big 3 in the Houston area is going to be your HCC, going to be San Jac, and Lone Star. As far as the local trade schools, these are some of the popular ones: Tulsa Welding School and UTI, just to name a few. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the 3 primary applications that our students use. The first one is going to be the Apply Texas. Obviously, that one is going to be the one that the students apply if they're going to go to school and they're going to stay here in the state of Texas. Definitely want to use that. It's super easy because basically you're knocking out every school that you desire. You complete that application and that basically knocks out, that takes care of all the schools that you basically have a desire to attend if you're going to stay in Texas. And then you have the Common App, which the Common App is kind of widely, it's nation. So if your student, your child is desiring to go out of state and go out of state, then this may be the application that they may want to choose. And then of course, lastly, we have the Coalition, which is just another college application that they can use to apply as they're submitting their applications for their different colleges. Of course, just want to remind and reiterate to you guys, as we stated earlier, colleges look at, they look at your class rank, they look at your GPA, they're gonna look at those entrance exams, like I said, ACT, SAT. Even, I know your kids are class of 2024, but just to show you how critical, and explain to you how critical those ACT and the SAT is, even with our current senior class, even though right now it's test optional, we're still encouraging those students to submit those scores because studies have shown that students have a higher chance of getting accepted if they submit those scores. So definitely want to encourage you guys, and like I said, we don't know what next year holds, so definitely want to take care of the SAT or the ACT.
How do you stay connected to us? Again, we have our Facebook page, we have Twitter, and then our website. Again, our college and career night that is sponsored by Humble ISD is going to be huge. We would like for all of you to be there. We would like Summer Creek High School to have the biggest attendance over at Atascocita, Humble, Kingwood, and Kingwood Park. I'm just saying. Okay. So I was told today by one of the sponsors of junior class that their shirts are not selling and that they want the class of 2024 shirts gone. And so you can scan that QR code. They are on sale now for $15. No more, I see no more hands. So I would like to say that we do have some colleges here with us tonight. One of the military branches is also here. So if you don't mind, if you just stop by and visit their table. Again, thank you for coming out. We hope that you all have a safe drive home and enjoy that break of your kids being home next week.